Welcome. It's your boy Cam Will. Got a new segment from WildCard TV for you, man. First installment. We don't even know what we calling it yet. Nick breaking it in.
Yes, sir.
We interviewing people doing dope things in sports, culture, the community, all over the place, man. We're going to figure out a name for it down the road, but we getting started. First sit down, interview, WildCard TV. We got my boy Mike Reddick in the building.
Back in the building, man. I'm excited to be here.
Make sure you tap in with us on some background. I don't know what's going on. You hear that?
Yeah.
Make sure you tap in with us on WildCard Sports on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. WildCard TV on YouTube, man. That's where you're going to be able to find this exclusive interview, man. But without further ado, man, we need to get to it, man. We got the one and only Nick Smith in the building. Nick, first and foremost, thank you for, giving us your time, agreeing to come on and do this interview with us, man. Giving us up your Saturday. I know you got the fam, kids. If you look behind them, sneaker game crazy, busy. You know what I mean? And I'm just appreciative that you gave us some time.
No doubt, man. I appreciate the invite for sure.
So, just tell me more about your brand you got with Soda.
Yeah, so I'll start off by just saying who I am. So my name is Nick Smith, also known as LifeAndKicksWithNick. I was born and raised in Alabama, East Alabama, Phoenix City, Alabama. It's probably like an hour and a half south of Atlanta, Georgia. I'm a sneaker collector, obviously, self-proclaimed color connoisseur, baller, golfer, father, all of the above, man. So in terms of kicks, I've been collecting kicks probably for the last, 14, 15 years. I've always been into kicks, but most of the time they were like hooping kicks. And, I ended up playing ball with them in the gym, outdoors, whatever, to just wore them out. And then as I got a little bit older, I started collecting them a little bit more and more. And then in terms of your question in reference to soul dye, I've always had a passion for colors, or like a talent for colors. And I've always wanted to be like, I never wanted to wear what everyone else had on. So it was like a weekend project where me and my folks, we were just doing some tie-dye for some fun, like family time or whatever. And I made like a couple of hoodies that came out pretty dope. And I put them on my Instagram, and people start asking to buy them. So I did that for a couple weekends in a row. And then I was like, well, if I'm gonna go in, I might as well go all the way in. So named it, trademarked the name, started building my brand, started building my business. And then my first collab was with Amir James, which is Amir Usher. If you guys know Cam, probably know him. He's a fellow Ski grad.
Right. We
did our first collab, and that went crazy. And that kind of evolved to where we are today.
My fault, Nick. My apologies too. The audio messed me up. I apologize for not giving you your proper intro, man. That is terrible.
Oh, no, it's all good, man. This ain't my first rodeo.
I appreciate you being flexible like that and being quick like that, but I just had to get that in there. You can keep going.
Nah, that's all good. This ain't my first rodeo. I know how it goes, man. But yeah, about your question with Mello. So that was actually from our first collab that I did. I don't actually have the connection Amir did. So Rodney Hood is from the same spot as Amir, and they have a relationship. And Rodney Hood had been rocking the stuff. Mello was in Portland for a minute. So we ended up sending him some of the guys and some of the collabs that we did. And shit, he ended up wearing it first day of preseason with the Lakers. So here we are, man. So yeah.
Impressive, man.
So when you put all that hard work in, because all the background work you talked about, all the planning, the trademark, and the getting to that point, and then just seeing your hard work right there front and center, Lake Show, you know what I'm saying, one of the biggest spectacles on earth, you know what I mean? How did that feel, man, that moment right there, just seeing it?
Man, it was crazy. Like, I was sitting up, so like, it was crazy how it happened, because like this, one of my followers who's like a huge Lakers fan, she was the first one to send it to me. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, it's hard. So I hit up Amir, and it was the same thing. Like, people was hitting him up, they was hitting me up saying, yo, there go your stuff, there go your stuff. So it was like a great feeling, man. It's just like, in terms of your work, for me personally, I always just try to do my work, keep my head down and just stay focused. You have goals. Like, of course, everybody like, oh, I would love to have somebody of that stature rocking something that I did one day. But I mean, you don't know necessarily how to get to that step. It ain't as easy as you making something and sending it to Mello. You know what I'm saying? It don't work like that. I just kept my head down and did the work. And, you know, like I say, all this was through Amir. He had the actual relationships. And then, it flourished to what we are today. So pretty dope feeling.
Which one came first? Was it this? Obviously, I'm sure you had a passion for sneakers growing up, you know.
Yeah.
But, getting so in depth with it, did that come first, or did the fashion, did that lead?
Yeah, man, I grew up in the 90s, so the sneakers was always first. And you got to understand the context behind it. Like, I was born in the early 80s, so like I really grew up in the 80s and 90s. So I grew up watching Bo Jackson and MJ, Wayne Gretzky, Penny Hardaway, Junior Seau, you know, all the people that had their signature kicks, you know, Reebok, Nike, everything was jumping. Deion, Primetime. And so for me, like, you had to have a fresh pair of kicks. Like, your clothes could be dusty, but if you had a fresh pair of kicks on, you was the man. So it always started with the kicks. And then from there, it kind of evolved, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't come from like the wealthiest family at all. So you always had to kind of blend your outfits so people would know you was repeating, you know what I'm saying? So you might take some jeans and then mix it with like an older shirt, or you might have a new shirt mixed with some older jeans, kind of stretch some outfits a bit. But sure, you also had to keep the kicks clean. That was first and foremost. You wear those shoes, come back and clean them up. You know, that's how the rotation kind of went. So it kind of just grew from there, man.
Here we want to go through some sneakerhead terminology so you can break down some of these things. I think people make a lot of mistakes.
Most definitely.
In the sneaker game, you know, they'll be like, I got the PE this and, you know, dead stock this, and I don't think they know anything what they talking about. So we got a couple terms.
Okay.
We're gonna go through, and we want sneakerhead Nick to give us his definition of these terms.
Let's get it.
First one, since I talked about it earlier, dead stock.
So dead stock, the actual meaning of it is like when you get it from a store, like something you would get from the store is dead stock. It hasn't been tried on. It's in the original box. It has everything that came with it. So if there's extra laces, you know, a hang tag, everything that is included, that's dead stock. Sometimes people get that confused. So like if I buy a pair of shoes and I try them on, that shoe is no longer dead stock. That shoe is now a try it on. It can be near dead stock or NDS, but it's not dead stock no more because it's not how it originally was from the factory or when the people received it. So dead stock shoe is just that. It's the shoe that came from the factory, has been tried on. Everything that came with it is still with it.
Yeah, you got that, Mike?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've heard you make that mistake before.
I have a few times.
I made the mistake because I think that a lot of people think that dead stock is, I guess, when the shoe drops again, or like if the store has extra pairs or something, they get extra pair, that's dead stock. And
that's a restock.
Yeah, that's what it sounds. Okay. That's what it sounds like. We've been feeling it wrong all this time. That's what you get.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Next word, man. Grails.
Grails.
Word. So I have no clue what this means actually.
And that word in my mind has been watered down a little bit, but it used to be a grail was like this pinnacle of a shoe that you've always wanted, but you can never get your hands on it. And that could be for a number of reasons. One, it could be like, you know, it used to be shoes only released in certain geographic locations. So like there were shoes that will only drop in the East Coast, only drop in the West Coast. And so someone growing up in the South, you'd be like, man, that's my grail. Like I'm in Atlanta or Alabama. I know I can't get that shoe. I don't know what anybody that's up there. So that's my grail. One day I hope that I can work towards getting that shoe. Mm-hmm. So it's like, it's basically a shoe that you really want. It's like on your to get list, but you know it's gonna be some challenges to actually get it.
Okay.
What has happened though, like there's really, if I'm being honest, there really is no grail anymore.
Yeah.
And I say that because everything is so accessible. So it's like, if I want to go get a pair of Air Max, which used to be a grail, you know what I'm saying? You all had to know somebody to get the shoe. It's like now I just go on StockX or go and then just have a whole bunch of money and buy it.
Yeah, I remember like I'm a big Cristiano Ronaldo fan. And like a lot of stuff over there that he dropped, because you know he's a Nike athlete, a lot of his sneakers and stuff, Air Max, he's a big Air Max fan. A lot of his Air Maxes only drop in Europe.
Yep.
You know, so that I guess that can be a grail moment. But now it's like you can log on VPN and log in the European site and boom, front door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
and
like
the grills, it used to require work, and now it's like when I see some of these videos, it's like, oh, I finally got my grills. Like you didn't have to work for it. Like you didn't know nobody. You didn't have to do no trades. You just logged onto an app and got it. Like
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breaking
2 for 2
breaking it down.
education. we gonna cut right here out.
Yeah.
This content right here on its own, Nick. You know what I mean?
Hey man, I'm an OG in the game, man. I got some history behind
We
me.
feel it. General release versus a limited release. Talk to us about
it. Too easy. So a GR or a general release is basically like a shoe that not only like your Foot Lockers and your Champs and those places would get, but basically all the shoe stores would get. So like if you go to the mall, you may go into a Dick's Sporting Goods, you know, and they'll have pairs. So general release basically is not limited. It's pretty much open to anybody who wants it. They can basically get a pair.
Mm-hmm.
A limited release, that means it's only going to certain stores. So maybe sometimes it may be certain geographics, certain locations that will get a pair. So a good example of that would be like Public School New York did a collab with Jordan on the Jordan 12s. They had a couple pair that only released in Europe. So those were like limited releases that were in Europe. They also had the all blue pair that only dropped at like Public School in the New York location. So that's an example of a limited release where only these specific stores get them. Like a Kith collab would be another example where only this specific store is getting them. You can't get them nowhere else except that specific store.
Okay, I think I had a good grasp on that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You got one.
Yeah.
I got retro.
Retro. So a retro is a shoe that it's not the OG. So I'll give you two definitions. OG would be like a shoe the first time it actually dropped. So you know Currency, I don't know if y'all rock with Currency. He got this one line where he say no retro card came with these. It wasn't a retro card because it was the original release. So if you think about like playoff 12s, if you think about the playoff 11s, a lot of people would say red 11s. It's actually like the playoff 11s, the black and red 11s. If you think about even like the cool gray 11s when MJ was with the Wizards, those are the OG releases. Then when they re-come out, like the cool grays just came out, that's the retro. So it's coming out again. It's something that's been released originally, and now it's retro. It's coming out again.
So it's not necessarily retro just because the 11 dropped when he was with the Bulls and he had the bread. Even when the cool gray, like you say, dropped with the Wizards, so that's not a retro. It has nothing to do with the colorway. It just has to do with that particular model. I mean, I'm not to do with model. But
I guess it depends. Some people, like some of the sneakerheads are like, it's not an OG unless Jordan played in it. So like, if he played in, then that's an OG. If they re-release it, it's a retro. A lot of people would say if it was an original shoe that came out, regardless if Jordan wore it or not, if it's only been out that one time, so if it's released in 94, 95, 96, you know, whatever the case is, and then it's re-releasing again, then that's a retro.
Okay.
Some people will argue that the cool gray 11 is not necessarily a retro because Jordan wasn't with the Bulls, but you know, that's kind of just like old head talk, to be honest
I'm glad
with you.
you brought that one.
So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer OGs or do you prefer retros, or it just depend on that type of shoe?
I would prefer a little blend of both, to be honest with you. So I'll give you an example. I had the, I'm gonna grab them real quick if y'all don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Get up in the closet, see what's
what we
going on.
Right.
I had these, the Lightning 4s, and these are actually the pair from I want to say 06. Yeah, from 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be an OG until it just re-released in retro 2021 last year. And so for me, like this was like a badge of pride to say, man, I still got my pair from 06. You know what I'm saying? I was actually there. I have these. But then when they retro, it's cool for people that weren't around who weren't in kicks in 06 to say they have a chance to get a pair now. And if these were like dusty and broke down, then I would be happy to get another pair, you know, from the retro. So to answer your question, it's usually like a blend of both. Like I like having an OG pair, but it's kind of hard to kind of keep them wearable, you know, in good condition. But at the same time, like if you see somebody, it used to be if you see somebody with an OG, you know, you tip your hat to them because you know they've been in the game for a minute. But again, now, I mean, people buying 1985 Jordan 1s
Off
And,
StockX.
you know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit of both, man.
It's beaters. I don't know if you heard.
Beaters. Yeah. Beaters are like your shoes that you just wear all the time. Or beaters could be like a pair of shoes. Like for me, like I said, I used to wear my J's to hoop in. Like I was talking with somebody, and I was talking with B, and they were like it used to be in high school when a pair of J's dropped on that Saturday, like you had them on in your game that same day. Like you was a man if you was playing in the 12s for that night. It don't matter if it matched your uniform or not. Like if them shoes dropped on that Saturday, you're supposed to have them on that night. Right. So for me, like one of my favorite shoes to play ball in is the Mellow 12s. Okay. They're like suede blue, or it's actually Nubuck. They're called the Nubuck 12s. I call them Mellow 12s because Mellow had them on. But so those would be my beaters for a long time. What's that?
The black ones with like the all black.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yeah, let me grab them real quick.
I got a Skiggy. Somebody stole those at Skiggy. My mama bought them for me.
He was hurt.
Yes, in my freshman year at Skiggy, somebody stole them out the gym. Dumb.
So
these
are beaters. You can see like the toe done bent up. I didn't snowed it, like plow snow in these, shovel snow in them. But like it used to be, if I was going to hoop, I brought these with me because they was just a solid basketball shoe. So a beater is basically a shoe that you really don't care about. I shouldn't say that you don't care about, but you wear so often, you're not worried about it being like in pristine shape. You don't really care what it look like.
Okay.
That's how I do my Travis Scott ones like that. My low tops, they like
yeah,
real comfortable. I wear those.
And they match anything. Like those Travis Scott ones, you can build your outfit from your. You can build your outfit first and just throw those on because you know they're gonna rock regardless.
Storm the Destroy.
So I went to a Wale concert. He signed my shoe.
But he
tore. That's hard. That's hard. There you go.
Yeah, man. So these my beaters.
Yeah.
Turn the Scots into a beater. That's
man.
the way.
Hey, that's rich stuff, man. You know, you probably got a lot of money. You know what I'm saying?
I can't get there yet, man.
No, not yet.
I can't do that. I ain't on that level.
Yeah, I keep all my ones that got high resale value on ice. I can't.
You know what I'm saying?
I gotta make all these like the shoes I did by like worth it for somehow.
Right.
So here the next word, PE.
PE. A PE is a player exclusive. So a player exclusive would be a shoe. It used to be, again, these terms kind of change. A PE used to be a shoe that was only made for that specific player. So a good example of that was Mike Bibby. When he was with the Jordan brand, he would have PEs, like shoes that had his number on it. It might have said Bibby on it, like a super player exclusive. And it was only in his size. So like you wouldn't see a player exclusive in like a 9 or a 10.5. It'd probably be like in a 14 or 15 because it was made specifically for that player. Mm-hmm. Now they have made shoes that were PEs, quote unquote, that they made for the general public, like made them in different sizes and whatnot. An example of that would be, let me grab this real quick. Oh, y'all don't mind if I keep getting up or not?
Oh, man.
All right.
You giving us all type of gems right now.
Yeah, man. In the closet, man.
Yeah.
So these are the CP3 13s. Yeah. You can see because it got his logo on the tongue. It's when he was with the Hornets, so they're Hornet colors. These are considered a PE because they, like I said, got his logo. The colors match his uniform. But Chris Paul don't wear no 10.5, so that definition has kind of changed a bit. Like I said, it used to be like strictly exclusive for the players, but then Jordan and Nike saw it as a way to kind of monetize it, so they started releasing PEs and full size runs. So,
do you call that a PE or do you just call it a Jordan?
I still call it a PE because, like I said, it got its logo on it. It was made for a specific point in time. So another one would be like these right here. So these came out actually in a pack. It was 4 Jordan 1s. It was for the Jordan athletes. This one was CP3. I got the one with Russell Westbrook. Blake Griffin had a pair, and there was one other one. But again, it was made with their Jordan logos on it, so it's still a PE. But like I said, they're 10.5, so they wouldn't be wearing them.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that's sneakerhead terminology right there. We got some good gems. We got some good clarity, and I won't make certain mistakes. I definitely know what dead stock is.
Yes.
Because we definitely off.
All right.
When you know better, you do better, man.
Come on, man. Look, we gonna be turned up. All right, so let's get back into Nick Smith. Nike by You. Talk to me about Nike by You and the work that you do with Nike by You and the work that you do. Well, I guess I'm going to say the same thing. Just talk to me about Nike by You.
Yeah, so let me start a little bit by giving some history on Nike by You. So before Nike by You, it was Nike ID.
Right.
Okay.
So a lot of the OG heads, they know it as Nike ID. That was a program where you can go on. It's like really one of the first of its kind, where you can actually take a silhouette and you can choose from the colors that Nike provided to kind of make your own shoe. So, I mean, I've been playing around with Nike ID before I could afford the shoes. I mean, I remember being at Ski and making different color paints and stuff that I knew I couldn't buy, but it was just fun to do.
Yeah, for basketball, my mom got me them Huarache 2K4. She let me do a Nike ID pair.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Oh, man.
He was a man.
What?
Put your number on the back.
Yes, sir. I was fired. So like, he gotta be. Yeah.
Fire, yeah.
So these were actually the first pair of Nike IDs that I made, the Air Stabs.
Ooh.
And you can kind of see people who've been around it. That's like the OG insole. Said Nike ID, had like the black and white on the inside of it. These are from 09.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah, 2009.
A real OG right there.
So yeah, I've always been playing around with it, and like I said, I've always enjoyed colors, and it was just a combination of me having the opportunity again to have a shoe that nobody else had. So I was the same way, Cam. I used to, playing around with 2K4s or playing around with shoes to kind of match my unis or whatever. And then as I kind of evolved, probably like 2 or 3 years ago, people started seeing it as I would say like a talent. Like I always thought it was pretty easy to go in there and just make a pair of shoes that was hard and, people kind of gravitated to. But as I started finding out, like, it's not as easy for everybody, like some people, it's hard work to do it. So I started posting more. I started gathering like a little following on Instagram. And again, for me, I just wanted to be different from everybody else. So like, of course I got shoes, I got Jordans, I got everything, but it was like, what's my lane? And I felt like my lane was like, I want to be one of the leaders in the Nike ID and Nike by You space. So like, if you think about Nike by You, I wanted my name to be synonymous with it. So I started tailoring my content strictly about Nike by You. I started doing IG live sessions where I would just go on and create shoes. I started showing some of my creations to the point where like someone within Nike by You corporate at Nike like reached out to me and said, hey, we love what you do. We love to kind of get some feedback on how to make the program better. Some of the things that we can kind of grow the brand and stuff like that. So I actually had like a Zoom call with the Nike by You team probably 2 years ago. And that's where like the 3D, if you're going on to Nike by You lately, you see they have like a 3D model where you can actually move the shoe around. You can touch specific points on the shoe and add colors to it and whatnot. So I kind of helped them not develop it, but just kind of gave them a consumer's point of view of how to make it easier for people to kind of use the program. And then since that time, we've worked together on some other stuff, and we're actually we're working together on some stuff real soon that should be out as well. So to answer your question, man, I just wanted to be like a leader in the space. It was something that I've enjoyed doing and had a passion for, so I kind of just wanted to share that with the world.
Well, I've definitely been tapped into it. It's because, like you say, like people can't do it. Like outside of that one pair of 2K4s that I made, because I knew exactly what colors and it was the school colors. Every other shoe I created on it was trash. I'm like, I can't. He's not gonna go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so to really see like some of the stuff you create is just amazing. You know what I mean? It's like, damn, where you come up with that? And
So we're going, like you said, you collaborating with Nike. So what goes into that process? It's like you said, having Zoom meetings, or like giving you shoes, or like what? Like how does that go?
Yeah, it varies. So like initially they would give me early access to some of the shoes that they were coming out with. So example of that, they had an Air Max 97 that they were going to roll out on a 3D model. So this is going to be the first shoe that they had on a 3D model. So they sent it to me early, sent a link to me where I could actually play around with it. And I was actually able to share that with my followers. So I did an IG live session showing them like, hey, here's what the new layout is going to look like. Here's one of the silhouettes. And we kind of made a shoe together. So that was one of the perks of it, is that I got to play around in the system with the shoe before the general audience would be able to. Where we are now, I'm going to have a meeting with actual, like, the upper tier of Nike by You. So I'm not actually sure what that's going to lead out to, but they did see a program that I did with a local school here in Philadelphia. So what happened was there was a couple of teachers that I know in the area, and I just wanted the opportunity to share like my Nike by You passion with some of the things that they were doing in their art class that was related to sneakers. So I went to their school, did like a brief presentation, and we all made like Nike by You shoes together. It was 3 different classes, and I actually, the best drawing or the best Nike by You that the students made from each class, I actually bought them and shipped them to them so they can actually have them in hand. So Nike saw that, and they want to see if they can be involved either by, rolling the program out a little more broadly, or seeing if they can, provide some more resources to make it a little bit bigger. So like, instead of me paying for 3 pair of shoes, maybe everyone could get a pair, or maybe more than 3 students could get a pair, or I don't have to come out of pocket for it. So it's still in the genesis. I'm actually not sure how far it's going to go out, but that's the fun part about it. I just kind of keep my intentions pure with it and have fun with it, and we'll see where it goes from there.
That's dope. And speaking of just your process and creative process, I do content, you create, obviously you do your content, but more from your shoes. How does the creative process work? Where do you get your inspiration? How do you sit down? How do you work that process of you got a family, you got kids. How's your creative process, and how do you manage?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it kind of varies, man. Like sometimes I might be watching TV or I might be online or something, and I'll see something like specific to colors, and I'll print screen it or I'll take a picture of it because I just like the way the colors look. And so I don't use that immediately. It's just like kind of I save it. And then when the right time comes, then I'll try to use that as a color inspiration or something like that. So sometimes I may be inspired by music, something I'm listening to, and that'll kind of put me in the mood of creating. So when it comes to like Nike by You, a lot of times I'll just get on there and I'll see what colors and patterns they have available, and I'll just start playing around with the shoe, putting it in different placements. And then from there, I just try to find a balance of something that I feel like is dope and something that is different. If you look at my shoes behind me, like my number one goal is like when you see my feet, you're gonna know like those shoes are not a general release. Like you're gonna say like, I ain't never seen them before. Like those hard. So that's like my goal when I make my shoes. I want you to see them and be like, I ain't never seen them before ever, and those are hard. So that's what goes into my creative process from a shoe side. And then if you think about sole dye and what I've been able to do there, it's kind of like the same model. It's like when you see my work, I want you to see it and it grabs your attention. Like I want you to be like, damn, I ain't never seen that. They ain't no tie dye. Like, how did you do that? I ain't never seen nothing like that before. So it's like the same thing. I put my work into like making it different, making it kind of like soulful and intentional. So like when you see it, it kind of grabs your attention.
For sure.
Man, that's big right there. So with your brand and then the shoes you got going on, are there any other things that you look to explore or want to explore, or any lanes you're trying to get in? Yeah,
that's a good question too. So believe it or not, man, I'm going to start like stretching myself a little bit more. And I want to be more of a, like a consultant in a sense, like if a brand is making a shoe or they have a shoe and they're trying to like experiment with different colorways, or they don't know which direction they want to go with, I want them to start, thinking of Life and Kicks with Nick as a brand that they consult with. I'm working with a local shoe company here where it's not like a Nike, it's not like a Reebok, it's like a shoe brand that you probably don't know of, but I'm gonna be working with them to come out with some dope colorways and even just assist the people. Like, so it's different walls of creating a shoe. Like you actually have a person who designs the actual shoe, like what it looks like. And then you have some people that are like color coordinators that actually apply the colors and patterns and stuff like that. And so my specialty is like color. So I just want to be able to use that talent in a way that kind of, like I said, stretches me a little bit. And I want to be known as one of those people that, like, if you need a dope colorway or you need some patterns or something, that people come to me. So that's next stuff for me. Instead of just being known by Nike by You, I want brands to be coming to me and reaching out, and I'm helping them.
Big right now. I'm excited for that.
I was about to say, if you weren't, at the end of this, I was gonna be like, I think you need to be a consultant, because I'm a color person. I think the problem with a lot of people and a lot of brands is they don't have good creative people behind them, giving them good ideas, and them also willing to take risks. So I look at everything you create, and I feel like, it's just like you're not afraid to take risks. You kind of put everything together. It's just like, for me, it's like hand in glove. I feel like that's the next step. That's what I was going to say. The next step is just getting this on a large scale and impacting other brands. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that, man. What it really boils down to as well is storytelling. Like, I got into shoes. A lot of people got into shoes because they had dope storytellers. And there's still some people out there that do a good job of that. Joe Fresh Goods, Mom and Ear, they do a great job of storytelling. But it's like, when I created these Air Force Ones, it's like, these were made to like remember like the old school Seattle Sonics uniforms. So it's like, when you see that, you be like, all right, yeah, I remember. Like, it kind of give you like Sean Kemp or Gary Payton vibes. Yeah. And so that's what I'm going for. It's like, sometimes you might not even, like, you'll see the shoe, be like, all right, man, that's a dope colorway. I would rock that. But then when you hear the story behind it, like, you say, oh, okay, this is made for the Sonics. You like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm trying to get into more, storytelling.
Yeah, man. No more of this senseless shoe buying, just hype beats. I like what you got going on, because see, this make the shoe game, and we're gonna get into that next. This where the shoe game is going and where it's at. I think this gives a lot of life to the shoe game, where now it's kind of about money. It's a money-driven game now. And
absolutely.
Just kind of getting into that. I guess the underlying topic is resellers. That's kind of the key. But just the state of the sneaker game, and we'll start at the resellers. How do you feel about the resellers and just kind of where they have taken sneakers from where you started and now where it is today?
Yeah, I'm on the fence, man. I'll say it like this. It's going to sound bad, but resellers are like a necessary evil. And like, I know resellers. I'm friends with resellers. It's like a necessary evil in the sense that, like, me, if there are a pair of shoes that I can't get personally, like, I filled out all the raffles, I went on sneakers, I struck out, like, I have ran out of options. Like, my only other option to get a pair of shoes is via a reseller. Right. So it's like, in that case, it's like, I kind of need you. But then at the same time, it's like, they blowing the price out of the water. So it's like, I gotta pay for it. So that's why I say it's like a necessary evil. Like, I need the shoe, I want it, but also I gotta pay for it. So, like, the thing is nowadays is that it used to be resellers were actually sneakerheads. Like, they, accumulated relationships. They had a bunch of shoes. They were selling their own collection. And they, that's what a reseller was. Now, resellers are strictly business. Like, they don't have any love, no passion for the actual shoe side of it. It's just capitalism. It's a way for them to buy a product and make a revenue on top of it. So it's making it harder for someone like me who has just like a passion and love for actual shoe, and someone has kind of monetized that and took that love and passion out of it. It's just capitalizing on it. So, like, a good example of that is like Jordan released a Jordan 1 golf shoe, right? That came out. Nike released it on Friday. And it's like, as soon as I got on the website, the Shadow 1s was already sold out. It's like, I know it ain't that many golfers out there. Like, I used to be able to get Nike golf shoes. Like, I got Jordan 6s, I got Jordan 9s, I got the Dunks, like, from way back. There was no issue getting, because, like, you had to be a golfer to want them. Yeah. But now it's like, people know that golfers want them. So as a reseller, I'm gonna just go buy it anyway. I'm gonna have my bots running, and then I'm gonna make $200 on every pair that I make. So it's like, damn, as a golfer, I just want to be fresh. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want a pair of Shadow 1s to go play golf in, and I can't even get them. Like, I'm low-key kind of, you can probably hear it, like, I'm low-key kind of pissed about it, because it didn't used to be like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing with me is like I think that's what just blew me, because I'm not a sneakerhead, but like, I do enjoy sneakers and like the stories behind them. Like, certain sneakers that I saw back when I was growing up that, like retros drop, like Olive 9s. If it's a Grail thing and it's not even really Grail, it's those, because I couldn't get when I was a kid. I was in when they dropped again, was broke. And then, like, I missed them. So it's like, and now I'm just like, if they ever drop again, there's no way I'm gonna get my hands on them. Yeah. And
you know what's crazy about that, bro? Like, the Olive 9 was a shoe that nobody wanted. Like, you could go to Foot Locker and cop them for like easily. And even like probably like 3 or 4 years ago, like I was looking for a pair of Olive 9s on eBay, less than $200, bro. But I checked the other day because like Olive 9 for me is still like a dope shoe. Them shit's going for like $400, $500.
Yeah.
It was a shoe that nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted. Nobody liked the colorway. I'm like, bro, I love forest green, like the fall.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are hard. I've always liked them, and I can't get my hands on them because I'm just like, I don't know if I can do $400 or $500 for them. I'm just not in space right now. I mean, maybe I can be like him one day and just go crazy.
So with the resellers, what's the most you ever spent for a shoe on resale?
That is a good question. The most that I've probably spent on a shoe, probably like $700-800 for a pair.
Not bad.
And it was I'll show you which ones it was too.
That's good. That's pretty good. I think the most I spent was
It was the Union One.
Okay, that's worth it. That's completely worth it.
That was worth it.
And when I bought them, like I said, they were probably like $700-800 then. These probably going for like $1,200-1,500 now.
Yeah,
so crazy.
$1,200 now. I looked at a pair of those. I'm like, damn.
But again, it was like the story. It's like they took a silhouette that everyone's kind of got, I would say bored with at one point, but they kind of made their own twist to it. You know, kind of aged it, 2-color laces. It was a dope story. So I was like, all right, man, I gotta have those. So I went ahead and paid resale for them. But nowadays, I mean, that was probably like three years ago when I did that. I can't remember the last shoe that I paid resale for. I've kind of just like, if I strike out on the shoe, I just make a pair of Nike IDs and just be cool with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get by. I'm gonna make up for it. I like that.
Yeah.
Have you ever received a pair of fakes?
Absolutely. Like before, you know, you had authentic programs. Like the easiest way to get shoes was go to eBay. Like there was no GOAT, there was no StockX. It's like you went to eBay to get shoes. And so I remember I bought a pair of, what was that?
I said, you got us a horror story?
It wasn't even no horror story. It was like, I'm trying to remember the shoe. I forget which one it was, but I know I bought a pair of Air Max Vapor Max that I got. And they was like, so usually if the price is too low, like, you know, they fakes. But these was like priced at a point that he was like, all right, they got it real. I think I paid like $300, somewhere around $300 for them. And then when I got them in hand, I was like, hell no. Like, if you got enough sneakers, like, you know a fake as soon as you get it. Like, the size is small, the insole look like some paper. Like, that's way off. And as soon as I got it, man, I hit that dude up like, bro, these are fakes. Like, you gonna give me my money back. And he knew too. Like, he was like, all right, no problem. Just send them back to me. I'll refund you.
He was just had a duck.
He tried to get one over on you.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, now they have authenticity guarantees and stuff. Like even eBay has a program where they actually get sent to someone else. They look at the shoe, make sure it's authentic before they send it to you. You know, same thing with StockX, GOAT. They all, you know, check them and make sure they're authentic. But yeah, I got a couple of pairs. Now, have I knowingly bought fakes before? I've never knowingly bought fakes before, but you know, just going through the process of trying to get a shoe, sometimes you get fakes.
Get hit over the head. I feel that. Yeah. Let's slide back unless you got one mic. Look like you was on the tip of your. Go ahead.
No. Okay, for your golf drip, what you like to rock on your golf drip? Is just
brand.
Nike, like your brands, as far as even your golf clubs. What you like to rock?
Yeah. So my clubs right now. So before I had this first set, I was Nike down, bro. Right. Like I used to work at Nike part time.
Oh, okay.
So like
locked in.
Me and my homies, I had a couple of homies. We actually flew out to Beaverton, Oregon, to like the employee store.
Wow.
And we got, you know, as a Nike employee, you get 40% off, like everything. So we went up to Beaverton, Oregon. We bought like golf clubs, like a full set, putter through driver. They actually have they used to have a program where you would get fitted and everything. It was like real cool. So I had Nike clubs. My bag was Nike. And of course, my drip was Nike, head to toe. So I couldn't play for shit at that point. Like, but like when I came out there, you thought I could because I looked like I could get out there and play.
Tour.
I couldn't play with the shit, bro. But I looked good. But I finally got used to those clubs. I got a new set in the beginning of COVID, so 2020. So now my all my irons are tailor-made. which one are they? I can't even think of the name of them right now. I was gonna say TaylorMade Burners, but that's the old TaylorMade. Shit, I can't think of, but they are TaylorMade. My driver is a G-Ping 400 that I got for Father's Day a few years ago.
Impressive.
I still swing that, like, that's my baby right there. And then my shoes, man. Let me grab these real quick.
Oh yeah.
Like I said, I got the Jordan 6 lows that I play in, the white and black ones. I got the Jordan 9, the black and red ones that I play in. I always like playing the Jordans when they drop. I actually, that's why I had to pay resale for these, but I had to have these, bro.
Those are.
As a sneakerhead and a golfer, like when they drop these, bro, I paid $270 for them, but it was worth it. I had to have them.
Yeah, that's an easy buy. That's literally
golf course.
That's literally the last sneaker I bought when they dropped. Is the last sneaker
Okay.
I had to get on the leader game, the Jordan game, and then those like a month later, like hold on, after these, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So I lied. I paid resale for these. I forgot I paid resale for these, but I had to have them, bro.
So outside of the sneakers, what other brands do you rock with now? Because I actually been thinking about getting into golf. I just know it's hard as hell, and I don't know if I'm ready for the agony of ass for a really long time at it. But I'm eventually into it. And there's a lot of guys, a lot of dope guys, urban guys in the golf space, black guys who pumping up golf. And there's a lot. I've noticed there's a lot of dope brands, Trap Golf, Elijah one. Eastside Golf. Yeah, a lot of brands. Any of those brands, on top of the two names that I named that you rock with out there, because I definitely want to tap in with some more golf.
Yeah, man, it's dope to kind of see all those guys in the market. I fuck with all of them, to be honest with you. So Trap Golf was one of the first ones that I started messing with. I actually know my boy Wayne O'Drano. His folks are from Phoenix City, so we've been chopping it up for a minute. But big shout out to Wayne and Trap Golf. I got a bunch of their stuff. Eastside Golf, like I remember when they first came out, before they even had like the shoes, I bought like one of the pendants that they had just to kind of show support. Because like I said, at that time, it wasn't that many black brands that were in golf. Now it's cool, but before then it wasn't. And another one's called Deuce brand, Deuce Premium. They got some fire stuff. So I rock with all of them. So if you see me today, usually my clubs and my apparel will be like Nike, but then I'll usually have on like a Trap Golf hat or a Deuce hat or Eastside, something else. Like my towel on my bag says Trap Golf. So I try to mix in some of the black golfers via accessories or hats or belts, whatever, to kind of just, show love and support through that way.
What is the most, I guess, aggravating thing about golf to you?
So the most aggravating thing is, like, as an athlete, and I grew up playing all sports, basketball, baseball, football, you name it. And most of those, it takes just like some skills, hand-eye coordination, a little bit of strength, and you can usually pick it up. Golf is like the total opposite of that. Like you don't have to be athletic at all. I mean, it does require like some hand-eye coordination, of course, but it's more like technique and practice. And that's like the most frustrating part about it. It's like, you think if you can hit a baseball, you can come out and hit a golf ball, but it's two totally different swings. And it just takes time, man. That's the only thing I tell you. Like, golf is the one sport that you can't just come out day one and be okay with it. Football, you go out, catch, you run. You can be okay with football without playing it. Basketball, same thing. Like, Joel Embiid didn't start playing basketball until he was like 15, 16, and he just scored a 50-piece the other night. You hear people about that with track, all that other stuff. If you're athletic or you got like good genetics, you can pick it up. Golf, you never hear about somebody that picked up golf last night and like overnight success. Most of these dudes been playing like since they were like 5 or 6 years old. So
like that's 2 years old.
Exactly. So it takes time, man. Like, and I'll be honest with you too, it ain't no cheap sport to play. Like, you gotta have golf balls, you gotta have clubs, you gotta have gloves, and all that stuff. You gotta refresh it all the time. Like, it don't last for years and years like a basketball. Like especially if you trash, bro, you're gonna lose 12 golf balls the first time you go out.
I lost a bunch.
Yeah, I worked at a store, and I just seen how much them golf balls cost. It's like if you want a good set of them,
$50 a box for 12 of them.
Yes, sir.
And you gonna lose them. Yeah. So it's a little bit expensive, but like I'm at a point now that I'm good enough that I can actually enjoy it. You know what I'm saying?
You get to that point.
All right. Well, we're gonna slide back. We're gonna give you one more question about yourself and what you got going on. Then we're gonna get a quick round of questions and some quick questions to bring it down. But talking about Sold Out and the direction that you're going with there, I know I see a lot of people, they take their brands and move them into stores. And I see a lot of brands that are creating these more exclusive feels, like you see like, let's say Kith or something like that, where they're creating their own brands and they're building from ground up and they're rivaling these other, stores. And it's kind of making it like, we used to go in Dillard's and get all your gear. Now it's like, the hell with Dillard's, you can just get all your stuff from the people that you rock with. What vision do you see more with Sold Out? Do you see yourself being more of a brand where you stand alone and you also are offered in stores, or are you looking to build the brand from the ground up and kind of be more like a Kith or Off-White or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. It was something that I struggled with for my first couple of years as well, but now it's cemented. So like, I want to be like the hit boy of tie-dye, in the sense where like, I'm just like a producer. I don't have to be kind of like in the front of it. It's like when you hear it, or like in my case, when you see it, you be like, damn, that shit cold. I want to know who did it. That's me. So I used to kind of like really try to push my own merch, my own branded Sold Out stuff. And now I just want to be like a service-oriented business where like I provide my services to these brands like Amir James, like OG Vandal, like Earn Your Leisure, where I just do my work, I send it to them and they can do whatever they want to with it. Logo-wise, they can put it out. If it makes it to stores, if it makes it to LeBron James or Melo, that's cool. But me, myself, I don't have those ambitions of being like a top fashion seller. Like I enjoy just kind of being in the background, man, like providing my services and then just go from there. And from a business sense, it makes sense for me because I don't have to keep a ton of inventory. I don't have to worry about putting my stuff on sale if it doesn't sell. It's like everything that I do, like I know the number that I got to produce. So if they need 200 hoodies, I produce the hoodies, buy them, boom, ship them out. I've already made my money. So regardless if they sell out, whatever the case is, I don't have to worry about it. So I think that's my lane. Like I kind of just enjoy being behind the scenes. So like when like Melo is rocking it, or I had like Benny the Butcher rock one of my hats that I did with OG, or Dwight Howard rock some shorts and stuff that I did with another brand. It's like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? That like you see my work when you see it, my name don't have to actually be on it. So that's why I kind of compare it to like Hit Boy. Like when you hear a Hit Boy beat, you might not know who Hit Boy is. Now everybody knows who Hit Boy is because he's just been killing it. He used to be like way in the background. Like he used to be like a ghostwriter, producer where nobody knew who he was, but you knew when you heard it, it was dope. So that's the vision for me, man, in the next few years. I'm gonna just kind of keep my head down and keep doing that. And I put a quote up on my stories today. Like it's more important for me to kind of build horizontal. So I'm trying to work with people that I know personally, people that I went to school with, or people that, just fuck with the brand and build within it. Together, we can kind of grow vertically. I think oftentimes, like when you start a brand or business, it's like, all right, man, I want to get my shit to Jay-Z. I want to get my shit to LeBron and stuff like that. It's like, that ain't really how it works. Like you build with the people that's right next to you, then together, y'all kind of build up. So that model has kind of like been evident in my business and how it's evolved. So
definitely, that's a gem. That's a gem right there for the listeners. That's what I preach. I preach the team, to pull each other up, like you say, work with the people right around you, figure out what all of them do, leverage all your talents together and pull each other up, like you say, and move vertically together. Hey, look, I love that answer, man. So we're gonna give you a couple quick things. We're just going through. We finna end it. We gonna know you got stuff to do. We done held you up almost an hour, man. We got us a few little quick hits that we can hit real quick and get up out of here. Let's talk about the current fashion scene, man. How do you feel about current athletes' fashion? I guess more notably the NBA, because they, league fits really tends to highlight, in the athletes and what they wearing before the games. How you feel about where fashion is going?
Man, I want everybody to be able to kind of be themselves, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes you see stuff that me personally, I know I would rock, like Kyle Kuzma. He be on some other stuff, like I can rock it.
I rock the sweater.
I'm not rocking the sweater.
But then the all leather suit I was out on. But the sweater, I rock the sweater though.
Yeah, but like I can respect him for like being an individual and rocking some shit that nobody else would rock. Like for me, it's not something that I would wear. But like I said, I like for people to kind of be themselves. Like Russell Westbrook is another one. Like you see some of the stuff that he wear, it's like, nah, that ain't my cup of tea. But he consistently like doing some shit that like only him can do. Kelly Oubre is another one. Like they just be on some other stuff that's not my cup of tea, but they fashionable with it. They rock it with such confidence that you gotta respect it. So
yeah,
I fuck with it.
Okay.
What's your top 5? I guess league fits. You see people. I know you named a few, but what's your top 5?
Man, that's a good question. I would have to think about it. CP3 comes to mind off top. Like when I see CP3, I can't say I've seen CP3 and be like, nah, he'd be fresh like almost every time I see him.
Then he throw shit in there too, so it'd be hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Bron is another one. Like he's like Bron and CP3, and probably because we like in the same age range, like they rock what I would rock in the way that I would rock it. You know what I'm saying? So I fuck with Bron. Who else? Melo, of course. I'm trying to think of maybe some of the young bulls. What's a boy out of Oklahoma City? Gilchrist?
Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. He go hard.
He be fresh, bro. He be fresh.
Yes.
It's some of the stuff that like I wouldn't rock, but it still be fresh. You know what I'm saying? I'm not more like, I always say I'm not like a fashionable guy. Like I don't really change trends that much. I'm more of like a stylish guy. Like I take what worked for me and I kind of rock with that. So if I was in the league, you'd probably see me like Ja Morant. I'm gonna be like in a Nike tracksuit most days. I might get fresh. You know what I'm saying? But
got a little date or something, or dinner or something after the game, you might put some
right. You know what I'm saying? So those are the ones that I think of off top.
Hey, that's smooth.
Wear them or storm, and this comes when it's talking about your shoes. Are you a wearer, or do you put up more of them on ice than you wear?
No, I'm a wearer, bro. Like I try to wear all my shoes. I had like this thing that I did like a few years ago where like every single day I try to wear a different pair of shoes. And then like what slowed me down was when like COVID hit. It was like we was just in the house, you know what I'm saying? We weren't going nowhere. So like I started getting shoes, like all my Nike IDs, I probably did 20 or 30 pair in the last 2 years. It was just like I was at home, I couldn't do nothing, so I was trying to find ways to be creative. I was making like a bunch of shoes, but it's like, shit, I ain't got nowhere to wear them. Like I can wear them to like the gas station or something like that. But my intention when I buy a pair of shoes is to wear them. So I'm not really a store per se. I obviously store my shoes now, but that's just like how my collection is kind of built up over time. Okay,
you're a big Nike guy. How do you feel about the idea of a Jordan and Yeezy collab? And is that even possible?
I think it would be dope, and I think it is possible. You'd be surprised, man. A lot of these brands be owned by other brands. So like Adidas owns Reebok, and you'd be like, what? That don't even like make sense. So it's like I could see like, I think it would be dope to see like Adidas with like a Jordan logo on it, or Jordan with like the 3 stripes on it somewhere. I think like a cross collab would be dope because it's something that we've never seen before. And it's like it's 2 of the dopest brands out there. Like you take Jordan and Adidas and put them together, like it's dope because like right now, I'm from the old school, like so you'll never see me with like Nike shoes on with Adidas socks or Adidas tracksuit with Nike shoes. Like I don't
doing that right.
I don't cross. Hey, but some people do it, like especially in Philly, a lot of like that's like the staple to wear like Adidas tracksuit with like some Nikes or something like that. Mm-hmm. Or New Balances, but I tend not to cross brands. But I think if they did something like that, it would be dope.
Yeah, I can see that. Do you ever see them ever releasing the what's the shoe he had with Nike? I can't remember off the top of my head.
The Yeezy, the Yeezy 2s, Yeezy 1s. I hope they don't.
Yeah.
I hope they don't. Let me grab mine real quick.
George running through the roof right now. He like, nah, it's like a stock, man.
I hope they don't, man. But like, this is just like a dope shoe. Like when Yeezy and Nike did these, they went crazy. Like it's something that you really don't see before, probably never see again. And like, I don't know how much these shoes are going for right now. It's got to be like around 3-4K, something crazy.
Yeah.
DS probably more than that. But it's one of those things too. Like I wouldn't be mad if they did them again, just because not a lot of people have them. But then I kind of would be mad because, like, for someone to have these, it's like it's special. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you had to be there for them. Yeah.
Okay, then. So what do you think about Nocta with Drake going on? I know he about to drop his shoe later on this month. About a couple of apparels.
Man, that golf collab they did, and this is just my personal opinion, that shit was trash.
Really? Okay.
Like, I think a lot of times, like, these people, these brands, and kind of goes to your point earlier, Cam, like, they collab with people who have no knowledge of what it actually is. So, like, as a golfer, like, you can see some of that stuff, but, like, I wouldn't golf in that. Or if I would, I'm not paying $500 for it. Like, I'm not paying $500 for a golf jacket.
Right.
Like, why would you make a rain jacket that's $500? Like, it don't even make sense. I'm not paying $500 for something to get wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna do like a Drake and Nike collab, like do something that people can actually wear, like some polos, or like the stuff they did, like a turtleneck. Like, I'm not wearing no turtleneck to play golf in. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to answer your question, bro, I thought it was trash. Like, I looked at it. Even if it was on sale, I probably wouldn't buy it because it just wasn't like
functional.
I don't know. It didn't fit what you do for golf. So it was cool. Yeah. I think resellers bought it because they thought they could make some money off of it. But that shit, it might still be sitting on Nike.
Yeah, I think the white jacket's still sitting on.
Yeah.
And this is gonna be my last one. I think it might take you a few sentences to answer. But as a I'm gonna call you a visionary in the sneaker and fashion community.
Appreciate that.
What do you think you need to launch? Because I watch guys like Langston Galloway and people like that try to make shoes. So I don't think it matters how much money you have. I don't think it matters your stature or anything. What do you think it takes to launch a successful shoe brand that could actually rival the top dogs? I'm not saying, sales wise, but like notoriety more, like, well, I'm sure Off-White or Kith don't sell as much as, Nike end of the year reports. But when you think about Off-White, it's up there with that Nike brand now.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the number one thing, we kind of talked about it earlier, you got to be able to tell stories, man. Like, people got to be able to feel your brand and where you come from and people relate to it. So like a good example of that is Ami Leon Dore. Like, I love their brand, and it's because they do a great job of storytelling. Like, if you look at the visuals, everything they do, like, they have a dope story behind it. And Langston Galloway, his shoes sold out. And I think, although it wasn't like a story, like he didn't tell a story, his story. Like, he's a hooper. He's played enough basketball that that if he's going to play ball in a shoe, it has to be like functional, like it's something that he's investing into. So that makes sense as well. Even like when Melo and them dad dropped their basketball shoe, like, there was a story behind it. Like, you saw these little boys come up watching their mixtapes and highlight tapes, and now they made it to the NBA like the dad said it when they got their own shoe to go with it. Like, that was a dope story. Now, that shoe was trash. Mm-hmm. So in terms of like they sold out of that shoe, so that means they did a great job of storytelling, marketing, but you got to have something that's going to last. Like, it has to have some longevity. Like, when you see what's the older brother name?
Lonzo.
Lonzo. He was telling you had to change those shoes every quarter because they were so trash. So it's stuff like that you got to think about, like, long term. So first of all, to answer your question, like, marketing, you got to be able to tell stories. It's got to be something that people can relate to and they believe your story. And then two, it has to be something that's functional. It makes sense. It actually works. So like, if you're making a basketball shoe, you got to be able to play ball in and it actually doesn't break every quarter. And then lastly, you got to think about, 3 to 5 years from now, you got to have some longevity. Like, think about what's your next model going to be? What are your next colorways going to be? Like, how do you actually grow it to the masses? So I think like Langston Galloway, you know, much salute to him. He sold his shoes out. I actually tried to get online just to get a pair to support, but he would be a good case as to, okay, now that you know you have a proven case study, you put a shoe out, it's sold out. Your next step should be, okay, how do I make more pairs so they become more available for my audience? Or how do I make other colorways? How do I get other players in the NBA to rock my shoe? You know, so it kind of gets cemented from there. So those are some of the things that I would think about.
Okay. Well, that's the last. I'm sure you got anything, Mike? Anything?
Yeah, your best golf game, man. What was your best?
My best score?
Yeah.
I shot an 82 this past year.
Man, that's
so 10 over. And I could have actually been, I could have shot sub 80. I could have been like 79.
You might have made
I remember
events, man. You might have made the cut.
All right.
Yeah, I could have made the cut. So I'll tell you what happened. Like through the first 8, I was 4 over. I was doing like real good, and I started thinking about my score. And on the 8th hole, I had a triple bogey. So now I'm 7 over. On the 9th hole, I bogeyed. So then I was 8 over. And then it was like from there, I still played a good background. I ended up playing like 2 over, but like I could have easily shot like a 79. That would be my best score ever.
It's all mental with that golf, man. It's real mental.
It is mental.
Off it? Like, cause I'm sure I'm in the I'm a 150 strokes, something like that. Where's
you keeping your score then?
Yeah, we're not keeping score.
You're
with
not
me.
keeping score. You just
Eventually, when all y'all get y'all balls in, I'll quit. I did. All right, let's do the next. Yeah, man. But hey, Nick, I mean, we covered a lot today. You dropped a lot of gems on us. You shared a lot with us. I come from I think the same moniker you think about, you know, building with the people around you and elevating. So that's part of why, I invited you on. I see what you're doing. I'm trying to get going in my space, and I just feel like, we can elevate each other. So I really, really enjoy what you're doing. I appreciate you coming on, giving me, dropping these jewels, reviving me in Call of Duty. You know what I mean? I appreciate it all, man.
That's a fact. I appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate the opportunity for sure. Anytime I have an opportunity to kind of tell my story, my background, I look forward to doing it. So salute to y'all guys, man. I know y'all gonna do it big, and we'll see each other at the top.
Oh yeah, we'll see each other at the top and along the way, man. I appreciate you coming on, man. Everybody, make sure you tap in with WildCard TV. Make sure you tap in with me, Can Will Made It, on all social media. We got my boy WM Red, and Nick, tell them where they can find you at one more time, man.
Yeah, on IG, man, you can follow me at LifeAndKicksWithNick. That's all spelled out, Life and Kicks with Nick. And then follow the brand too. Soul.brand is my other IG page. My website is soul-dye.com. So make sure y'all follow the brands, support for sure.
All right, Nick, man, we appreciate it. And for everybody out there listening, man, we out.
Appreciate y'all.